the end of the year and I can't but find myself wishing I could have gone to reviewing some more games and other stuff that I want to get to. So I guess it's time for some rapid fire reviews. I started the year with Deus Ex's DLC, which I did really want to get to reviewing, but I got quite a few technical issues that ended up stopping me. Desperate Measures is a piece of shit that should have been included in the base game to begin with, and I'm borderline offended they had the audacity to charge money for it, at least until December of 2016, when they gave it away for free. It's a short, half-hour or so side mission that feels disconnected from the base game, despite really feeling like it should have been part of it. It's mostly based around trying to find answers to the events from the start of the game, and it sort of does, and it clears up who that guy in the yellow jacket from the start of the first trailer that Jensen's desperately searching for is. It's a decent way to spend half an hour if you want some more Deus Ex, but it's not much else.
Lieutenant Whitaker, I have to go. Something's come up.
On the other hand, System Rift and A Criminal Past are both fantastic. System Rift is pretty much separate from the base game, feeling a bit like a heist film. Sorta. The basics is that Pritchard, your technical specialist from Human Revolution, needs you to break into this Palisade bank. The plot's nothing too special, but I do think the gameplay additions are fantastic. The major addition is a thermal mechanic, which I think is used pretty well. There's also a better implementation of the breach mechanics from the actual base game. Overall, I'd give it a recommendation.
I wouldn't move right now if I were you. Mr. Jensen.
Shadow Child.
Set before the events of Mankind Divided, A Criminal Past recounts the story of Jensen infiltrating an org-only supermax to get contact with an agent who's gone dark. It doesn't add much in the way of gameplay, unlike System Rift. The only addition is that Jensen initially doesn't have his augments, and this lasts maybe 15 minutes of gameplay if you want. Realistically, the big draw here is the conspiracy-laden Deus Ex plotline you know and love. And I suppose there's the Easter eggs in the narration you come across as you play.
You didn't die, Adam. Think back and focus. Tell me everything.
Ultimately, I'd give this a recommendation as well. I don't love it as much as System Rift, but it's a solid addition to the series.
Hurts. Don't it?
As you may have seen, I made my way through the Mass Effect trilogy, which, other than the end of the third game, was pretty solid. On the other hand, Andromeda isn't, which is a shame because I like certain aspects of it. The characters are pretty good, for instance, but honestly, I just don't see myself finishing the game. At least not yet. It's not because it's explicitly bad, it's just so average. I don't know, maybe I'll pick it up again and finish it and give you a proper review. But if you want, you can get a free trial on the PC.
You're a Pathfinder. I was beginning to think the initiative just made you guys up so the rest of us wouldn't lose hope, but you're for real, huh?
Maybe you want to knock me down a couple more times to make sure.
Back to some of the good things. Breath of the Wild. Yes, I know everyone loves Breath of the Wild, but like, honestly, it's good enough that I can spend hours with this stupid, awkward controller just exploring. Not even necessarily playing the missions, just looking around. Even my beloved Witcher 3 isn't quite that good. I totally get why the game is a system seller now. Sometimes I don't want to explore. Sometimes I just want to sit back, relax, and farm. And Stardew Valley is phenomenal in this regard. I put in like 65 hours of play into it. And most of this was in the first couple of weeks of owning it. It's just so easy to play, and I can do it while watching something on Netflix or doing rough cuts or something like that. It's just a perfect casual and background game. For the launch of the new Assassin's Creed, I found myself wanting to play some of the good old parkour assassin simulators. Of course, I'm saving to buy a new computer at this point, so Odyssey was off the table. Don't worry though, one day Alexios will be mine. So I ended up giving a good old Black Flag a proper good go again. Its controls are a bit clunky feeling on the PC, and the graphics could be better, but ultimately it's a pretty solid game, still.
That screw will do it just fine.
I generally consider myself not much of a multiplayer guy. Now admittedly, part of that has to do with having pretty mediocre internet for the longest time. But even without that, I've never found much appeal in playing games with other people. That said, one of my mates convinced me to give Payday 2 a proper good try, and it was pretty damned great. Now, for its worth, I don't play many proper FPS games, so take this with a grain of salt. But I felt the gunplay and overall gameplay was pretty solid, with the exception of the infuriating forced stealth. Now, for its worth, I'm sure it helps that I got it for free when the devs were giving it away once, and I'd be remiss not to mention the pretty beefy amount of paid DLC to go along with it that I can't decide if I like because the devs are still actively supporting the game, or dislike because they're being greedy. Regardless, it does go on sale during my Steam sales, and so I'd probably highly recommend it. Up next, films and TV. Wes Anderson's fantastic Mr. Fox is probably one of my favorite films of all time after Blade Runner, so naturally I had to check out Isle of Dogs. It's probably not my favorite, but at the same time, it's pretty damned good. I love that pretty much the entire thing is in Japanese, and they figure out clever ways to do English without having to use subtitles for the most part. And also, dogs are just the best, so really there's no issues. Overall solid film, but not perfect.
We get the idea. You're looking for your lost dog spots. Does anybody know him?
Ever since I saw the idea of the desktop film with Unfriended, I wondered if someone could do it, well. Enter Searching, a thriller from 2018 about a father looking for his lost daughter. The entire thing looks almost perfect, in spite of being created in After Effects and Illustrator. The virtual camera work is surprisingly effective, and the performances are phenomenal. Highly recommended.
Hey Margot, Dad again. Why did you leave your laptop at home? I haven't been able to reach Margot.
Wait, you can't find Margot?
Death in Buenos Aires. It surprised the heck out of me, combining solid direction, great performances, and a great aesthetic. It's a story set in 1980s Buenos Aires. A hard-boiled detective balances his desire for his handsome new partner and cracking the case. I really have to appreciate a lot of the cinematography throughout the film, and the nice long shots in it, but unfortunately I do find it important to mention that this is a non-English film, so you may wish to avoid it because of that. But honestly, I think you're missing out on a surprisingly solid film if you do.
¿El inspector Chávez? En la comisaría me dijeron que le trajera la declaración.
¿Y vos qué sos?
Yo recibí el llamado.
¿Qué llamado?
El llamado por la muerte de Alcorta.
As for some TV, Arrow is a TV series I enjoy for all the wrong reasons. It's a series I enjoy not because it's good, necessarily, but instead if you watch it with the mindset of it being some cheesy fun and not the super serious show that the directors at least kind of want you to think it is. Now, that doesn't mean I think it's an explicitly good show, and it has entire full-length seasons that are real slogs to get through, but if you're willing to watch it with the mindset of some cheesy fun, it's certainly far from bad.
But to do that without endangering the people closest to me, I have to be someone else. I have to be something else.
I hate to admit, but I really don't read enough. It's a problem. I want to get better at it. Regardless, I did get a few things in, like the first few volumes of the comic Grayson, because I'm an adult. I described it in my You Should Read Midnighter video as Dick Grayson fan service, the comic, and I still maintain that opinion today. It's a decent bit of fun that doesn't take itself too seriously, and at times almost feels like a satire of classic Bond films. If some man service doesn't turn you off, it's a pretty solid little read. I then followed this up with Andrzej Sapkowski, I butchered that, didn't I? Last Wish, aka the book my beloved Witcher games are based on. Yes, I know the author's a bit controversial because he doesn't like games or something. I know, but I do think the books are still a good read in spite of this. They're a lot of the fun, if somewhat dark and morally ambiguous romp that the games are, and I feel that if you even sort of like them, then the books are well worth checking out, even if they are a tad annoying to find. Way too many months ago, I told you all I'd let you know my thoughts on Midnighter's second volume and its follow-up, Midnighter and Apollo. So Midnighter's second volume, Hard, God I love this series subtitles, it is largely more of the same gay anti-hero fighting crime fun times. Whether that's the sort of thing you'd be into is up to you, but I enjoy the heck out of it. Midnighter and Apollo is again more of the gay anti-hero stuff, but this time with Midnighter's ex, Apollo. There's naturally some relationship stuff, but for the most part it's actually just Midnighter saving his love from hell. I'm not joking. All in all, I'd say my thoughts are still pretty much the same as they were several months ago, and I'd still recommend it. And that's everything I feel was worth mentioning for this year. Yes, I know not everything was from this year, but I hope it was interesting regardless. And before I go, I'd like to give a massive thank you from the bottom of my heart to Fuzzy, Poisoned, and SolarFluxx, who as well as keeping me company in our Discord chats helped me with some of the writing editorial, Payday gameplay, and some of the music I've used in these videos respectively. I also want to say a massive thank you to you, the viewer. I know it's not exactly many of you, but I appreciate it nonetheless. And with that, I'll see you next year.